ready to explore the world of AI in biotech and pharmaceuticals.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating area. Tons of breakthroughs happening right now.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone's talking about it, so we thought it was time for a deep dive.
Great idea. There's a lot to unpack.
Absolutely. We've got some really interesting reports and articles we've been digging into, and honestly, some of the stuff is pretty mind-blowing. Like, did you know that AI could potentially shave years off drug development time?
Yeah, that's amazing, not to mention the billions of dollars it could save pharma companies.
Exactly. But this isn't just some niche topic for scientists. It really impacts everyone's health and the future of medicine.
It's true. It's about how we treat diseases, develop new therapies, and even how we think about healthcare as a whole.
Right. So let's jump in and see what's really going on. First off, just how big is this AI revolution in pharma?
Well, by 2025, the industry is projected to invest a massive $3 billion in AI.
Wow, 3 billion? That's a serious chunk of change.
It is, and that number alone shows you how seriously everyone's taking this.
For sure. But are all pharmaceutical companies embracing AI at the same pace?
Interestingly, no. There's a pretty big difference between newer biotech companies and the more traditional pharma giants.
Okay, so like the startups versus the big established players.
Exactly. AI-first biotech firms, those that have AI at the core of their operations, they're really leading the charge. Something like 75% of these companies are already heavily using AI in drug discovery.
Oh, wow, 75%. That's huge.
It is. But when you look at the more traditional pharmaceutical companies, the adoption rates are, well, about 5 times lower.
5 times lower. That's a pretty stark contrast. What's holding these big companies back?
It's not just about adopting a new technology, it's about changing their whole way of doing business.
Yeah, I can imagine that's tough for companies that have been operating a certain way for decades.
Exactly. It's like turning a giant ship around. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to embrace a completely new way of thinking.
Makes sense. But let's get back to the basics. Why is AI such a game changer in drug discovery? What's the ultimate goal?
The biggest promise is to completely revolutionize how we discover and develop new drugs. Traditionally, it's been a painfully slow and expensive process. On average, it takes 13.6 years and a whopping $2.6 billion to bring a new drug to market.
Wow. 14.6 years. No wonder new medicines are so expensive.
Right. So the hope is that AI can help us speed things up and make the whole process more efficient.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does AI actually do that? I mean, it's not magic, right?
Not magic, but sometimes it feels like it. One of the biggest challenges in drug discovery is identifying the right targets. These are the specific molecules a drug needs to interact with to have its intended effect. Traditionally, finding these targets has been like searching for a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I can imagine that being incredibly time-consuming. So is AI like a superpowered detective that helps find these needles faster?
Exactly. AI can analyze enormous amounts of data, everything from genomic information to clinical trial results to pinpoint promising targets much, much faster than humans ever could.
So it's like having a super smart research assistant working 24/7.
That's a great way to put it. And it doesn't stop there. Once a target is identified, AI can help us understand how it interacts with potential drug molecules.
Yeah.
And even predict potential side effects.
So AI is not only helping us find drugs faster, but also design them in a smarter way.
Exactly. It's like having a virtual chemist working around the clock to come up with the best and safest drugs possible.
This is all sounding incredibly promising. But I'm also curious, what about clinical trials? They can be incredibly long and complex, right? Does AI have a role to play there too?
Oh, absolutely. Clinical trials are another area where AI is making a huge impact. Imagine being able to find the perfect participants for a trial, not in months, but in days, maybe even hours.
Hey, really? How is that even possible?
Well, AI can sift through electronic health records to identify potential participants who fit the criteria for a specific trial. This process used to take months of manual searching, but AI can do it incredibly quickly.
So AI is like a matchmaker for clinical trials.
That's a great analogy. But it goes beyond just recruiting participants. AI can also help design more efficient and flexible trials. Traditionally, trials followed a rigid protocol, but with AI, we can make adjustments in real time based on how patients are responding.
Wow, so it's like having a smart assistant that's constantly learning and optimizing the trial as it goes along.
Exactly. And let's not forget about analyzing all the data from these trials. It can be a massive undertaking, but AI can help analyze this data in real time, identifying trends and potential issues as they emerge.
This is all sounding incredibly promising. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to also consider the challenges and potential downsides of using AI in healthcare.
You're right. That's an important conversation to have. But first, why don't we take a closer look at some of the specific ways AI is already making a difference in the real world?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
I think you'll be amazed by what you're about to hear, especially when we talk about AI designing proteins. There's this example.
Okay, yeah, designing proteins. I remember us talking about that, but why is that such a big deal again?
Well, proteins are kind of like the tiny machines inside our bodies, keeping everything running smoothly. And how they fold into their unique 3D shape really dictates what they can do.
Ah, okay. So it's kind of like figuring out the blueprint of a microscopic machine.
Exactly. And understanding the blueprint is crucial for developing new drugs and treatments because we need to know how those proteins are going to interact.
Makes sense. And this is where AlphaFold comes in, right? I've heard that name before, but
Yeah, AlphaFold is an AI system developed by DeepMind. And what it does is predict the 3D structure of proteins.
and this is a big deal because
Well, traditionally, figuring out that protein structure was super laborious, like years of research and tons of experiments. But AlphaFold can do it in a matter of days, sometimes even hours.
wow, so that's a huge time saver, but is it accurate?
That's the amazing part.
Mm.
It's not just fast, but AlphaFold's predictions are incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
Rivals traditional experimental methods.
So it's like having a cheat sheet for protein folding, and that has to be a game changer for drug discovery.
Are absolutely.
Boom.
It's not just about speed either. AlphaFold is opening up so many possibilities in research, like studying diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, even cancer.
I see. So if you understand the structure of the proteins involved in those diseases, you can develop better treatments.
Exactly. It's all about targeted therapies.
Yeah.
And it goes even further than that. They're even using AlphaFold to design new enzymes that can break down plastics.
Yeah.
And imagine the impact on environmental sustainability.
Wow. So from fighting diseases to tackling environmental challenges, that's pretty impressive stuff.
It is, and the applications are just getting started. This technology has so much potential.
I'm really seeing the power of AI here. So are there other companies out there doing cool things with AI, maybe not just in the research world?
Oh, definitely. Let's switch gears and talk about Novartis. They're using AI in a completely different way to revolutionize how they manufacture medicines.
Novartis, that's a huge name in pharmaceuticals. What are they up to with AI?
Well, they've integrated AI systems into their production lines, and these systems basically monitor everything in real time, constantly checking for any deviations, making sure each batch of medicine meets the highest quality standards.
So it's like having an army of microscopic inspectors working nonstop.
Exactly. AI is taking quality control to a whole new level.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that, too. You're using AI to optimize the entire manufacturing process, from streamlining workflows to predicting potential problems before they even happen.
So it's like having a super efficient manager making sure everything runs smoothly.
That's a great way to put it, and the results speak for themselves. They've seen improvements in efficiency, productivity, even employee satisfaction.
I'm seeing a clear pattern here. AI is all about optimization, whether it's speeding up drug discovery, making trials more efficient, or even streamlining manufacturing.
You got it, and we're really just scratching the surface of what's possible. As this technology evolves, we can expect even more groundbreaking applications.
This is all incredibly exciting, but let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What are the long-term implications of this AI revolution in biopharma? What's the future looking like?
One of the most profound implications, I think, is the potential for truly personalized healthcare.
Personalized healthcare. What do you mean by that?
Imagine a world where your wearables, your smartphone apps are constantly gathering data about your health, and AI algorithms are analyzing that data to predict potential health issues before they even show up.
So like my watch telling me I'm at risk for a certain disease, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It might sound futuristic, but it's closer than you think. We already have AI analyzing medical images like X-rays and MRIs with amazing accuracy. Combine that with data from wearables and genetic information, and we could have a healthcare system that's proactive, predictive, and totally personalized.
So instead of just treating diseases, we could prevent them from happening in the first place.
Exactly. And imagine AI recommending personalized treatments or lifestyle changes tailored to your specific needs. It's a whole new level of healthcare.
That's a future I'd love to see. But it also raises some concerns for me. Like if AI is constantly monitoring my health, what about my privacy? Who has access to all that data?
You bring up a really important point. Data privacy is a major concern as we move towards a more data-driven healthcare system. We absolutely need to ensure that patient data is protected and use responsibly clear guidelines, strong safeguards, the whole 9 yards.
It sounds like a delicate balancing act between the power of AI and protecting our personal information.
It is, and that's just one piece of the puzzle. There are other challenges and concerns we need to be aware of as AI becomes more integrated into healthcare.
Like what else should we be thinking about? So we've talked about accessibility, data privacy. Are there other ethical things we should be considering?
Yeah, definitely one big one is the potential for AI to make existing inequalities in healthcare even worse.
That's a scary thought. How could
Yeah.
that happen?
Well, think about the data that's used to train these AI algorithms. If it's not diverse and representative of all the different populations out there, then we risk creating systems that are biased and might actually disadvantage certain groups.
So like AI perpetuating the problems we already have instead of helping to solve them.
Exactly. We need to be really careful about that and make sure these tools are designed to benefit everyone.
So how do we do that? How do we make sure AI is used ethically and fairly in healthcare?
Well, it starts with the people who are developing these AI systems. We need diverse teams with different backgrounds and perspective to catch those potential biases early on.
Makes sense. So it's not just about the tech itself, but also about the people behind it.
Right. And it's also crucial to involve patients and communities in the design and implementation of these tools, make sure their voices are heard and their needs are considered.
So a more collaborative approach.
Exactly. And as this technology gets more and more sophisticated, we need to keep having open and honest conversations about its impact on society. You know, where do we draw the line? How do we balance innovation with things like patient autonomy and privacy?
Those are big questions.
They are, and they don't have easy answers, but it's important that we keep asking them.
Absolutely. So what can our listeners do to stay informed and be part of these conversations?
I think the most important thing is stay curious. Keep learning about AI and how it's being applied in healthcare. There are tons of resources out there, articles, podcasts, webinars, online courses, you name it.
So be an active learner and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly. Challenge assumptions and look for different perspectives. The more informed we all are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this new world.
And is there anything else listeners can do to make a difference?
Yeah, definitely support organizations and initiatives that are promoting ethical AI development and advocating for equitable access to healthcare. There are a lot of groups out there doing great work, and they need our support.
So we can all play a role in shaping this future, not just the scientists and tech people.
Absolutely. This isn't just about technology. It's about people and values
Right.
and building a better world for everyone.
That's a great message. And I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. This deep dive has been a fascinating look at the world of AI in biopharma. We've seen how it's revolutionizing drug discovery, personalizing medicine, even changing how we manufacture medicines.
And it's clear that we need to be mindful of the ethical challenges and make sure these advancements benefit everyone.
Absolutely well said. I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and biopharma. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and be part of shaping this incredible future.